Previously on Unranked.
I'll have to try to 100% it, even though I could not 100% Hades. I was not good enough to do it.
Wow.
Wait, if you didn't 100% Hades, then why would you 100% this?
I didn't say I would.
You said you were going to.
Huh?
It feels like you already have an out because you didn't 100% the original. So why would you bother with the sequel?
Why would I bother playing it at all?
No, why would you even attempt to 100%?
Oh my god.
I feel like what I'm saying is straightforward.
It is.
Okay, great.
Chris is asking, why do you even care to complete Hades 2?
I know, but I'm confused because I never said I wanted to.
You did. You literally
did.
You said
it.
we'll see if I.
No, you said I want. You said something to the effect of play the tape back. Play the tape back.
Play it back, baby. Put it in the previously on.
It's never been easier to decide what clip to use.
What's funny about that clip is that you can clearly see that I am also either thinking about something else, doing something else, and that is why I'm not following what you're saying. And
Right.
It is very clear from that clip that I am not fully in the conversation. That I'm like, huh? Well, I'm like, well, I never said that. Like either I was on autopilot with the other, I don't know. So
I mean, sometimes when we do this, it's like in one ear out the other with the podcast, you know? Like sometimes you forget what we even talk about, right? Like I'm like, was this on the podcast or was this in our group chat or was this in a conversation when we were playing Walkabout Minigolf?
I mean, when you asked, before we started recording, Chris did ask me and Tuna, he was like, do you know what clip I'm going to play for the previously on? And both me and Tuna had no idea, and I completely forgot any of that happened because it's just another day in the life of being friends with Tuna.
When that happened in the podcast, like right after I wrote it down, I was just like, previously on, done.
Decided.
Hello and welcome to the Unranked podcast. This is Christian Humes here with episode 429. We have Alex Tuna.
Hello.
And Great Britam Caswell.
What's up, everybody?
How's it been? How the boys doing?
We're all right.
Good.
Yeah. Feeling good? Feeling ready to do another podcast?
I'm ready to do a podcast.
All right. Then let's do a podcast. So this week we're going to be talking about the 429th Pokemon. Last week was the 428th. Now this week we have a brand new
this one's,
Pokemon.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Not in a line. It's called Mismagius.
Mismagius?
Mismagius?
I think it's Mismagius.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Mismagius.
Yeah, evolves from Misdreavus. So yeah, Mismagius makes more sense.
Yeah, Mismagius.
I like realized right when I went to read this that I don't think I've ever
Mismagius.
said this Pokemon's name out loud before.
It's right. Mismagius.
Mr. Magoos.
Mismagius.
Mismagius.
Wait a minute. It evolves from Misdreavus.
Yeah. Misdreavus.
Oh,
It's a previous gen Pokemon.
Oh, here we go.
Getting an evolution.
Here we go. Previous gen. Get the evolution. Jeez.
And hey, when using a dust stone, which like the stones, I feel like were the cool, unique thing at the beginning, and then they started taking back seat to all these other gimmicks, and now we're back to, classic doing a stone, the dust stone.
I like new stones. New stones is cool. Dust stone is a bomb sounding thing. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's like the black saber, or the black kyber crystal. It's the dust stone. Before we get into its name etymology, let's just describe what it looks like. So the top of its head is like a witch's hat. It's all like purple and purplish pink colors. It's got sort of purplish pink on like the fringes. The rest of it's primarily purple. Underneath the hat is its little face. Imagine if it was like a witch's cloak, right? Like connected to the hat, and that's what the body's in. And it's got 3 jewels on its chest. So it's very clearly giving off magic, which interestingly, you know, there's a ghost type because it is sort of spectral. It doesn't have like actual arms or legs. I feel like this equally could have been like a fairy type, like design wise. You just maybe change the coloring a little. But this also, I think, could have worked just like a fairy ghost. Maybe they give it a mega, give it a mega fairy ghost typing.
That'd be cool. Does it not have it looks like a mega evolution of the previous thing that it comes from. Yeah, I mean, I think this is gonna rank high, honestly.
I agree. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit more about it and its name?
Sure. It seems to be based on the concept of Mismagius and Weiches. It may be the coloration may be a reference to the Nasu Baba, a witch-like yokai with a distinct purple skin. Another possible source of origin is the Banshee. Purple Banshee and Halo. Not bad. So Mismagius may be a combination of mischievous and Magius or magic.
Okay, that's great. I mean, I like when you can tell what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's both. It's design one is also hitting both the cute factor and the kind of intimidating factor. You know, it's kind of it's straddling both. I wouldn't be ashamed to put this thing up in battle, but it's also I would buy the plushie of this. You know what I mean? Like I would. So yeah.
I think the Japanese name is interesting because Mumargi is a combination of Muma, which is nightmare or demon in a dream. So this is like someone's like sleep paralysis demon, is basically
right.
And then otherwise it's to be witch or magic or mage. I'm gonna knock it on one thing, which I don't think this hurts it in its scoring because this is, I think, the case for a lot of Pokemon. Really ugly coloring for the shiny. Really just hideous shiny. Hideous.
Totally.
Like a puke yellow, puke green kind of a color. Like someone took a green and a yellow marker and kind of mixed them and then was like, let's throw a little brown in there and just fuck the whole thing up. Not a good design there. Definitely, I think more interesting things they could have done with that. But hey, I'm not going to really hold that against them. I also think Mischievous was a great design. Mischievous looks fucking cool. So, I'm going to give you a little bit of just a little lore drop based on a Pokédex entry.
Okay.
Please do.
From we're going to do Legends Arceus again. As long as it has it there, I might read those just because they're written more interestingly. The incantageous Mismagius chance can ward against misfortune. So a custom exists of inviting it into one's home. Incur the Pokemon's displeasure, however, and disaster will surely ensue. So it sounds like now
that sounds like a riddle.
That's cool.
The incantations of Mismagius.
Yeah.
I like that though. This Pokemon can use its sort of otherworldly powers for both good and evil, as opposed to just being a curse, right? Like the idea of like a good spirit is kind of cool. That's interesting. Any other thoughts before we put it on the board?
No, I just get to the board because it's going high.
All right. Well, you guys both think that, so why don't you both throw out where you would put it, and we'll go from there.
I think I'd throw it right under Monferno at the new number 8.
Whoa! Let me see.
So that's above pretty much everything except the final evolutions and like mid evolutions.
Yeah,
and like
you know what?
Luxray and
I'm good with it being. Let me just look at Weasel again.
That's like floating Pokemon.
Weasel.
I'm gonna throw something out there about this.
I think I do like it better than Weasel. I think I do. Yeah.
I think now that Tom set that line, I would actually maybe even say go higher.
Whoa.
I think this is about equally as good as Roserade.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I don't know that it's better than Roserade. I could go either direction on it, but I would say it's as good as Roserade at 5. And
I mean, look,
the reason I'm going to throw out there,
oh my god,
just briefly, one of my favorite Pokemon is Gengar, and one of the reasons is ghost type Pokemon, especially strong ghost type Pokemon, which this one is, have the ability to learn so many different kinds of moves that they're very useful in the game. And this is a Pokemon that, like, if I had on my team, I would put them on my team for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I had to pick, I was gonna say if I had to pick between Roserade and this to have on my team, I'm way more likely to pick this.
Right. What is Alex? What are you gonna say?
I was gonna say I was gonna put it after Roserade.
I'm happy with that because I wasn't sure.
I was going to put it at number 6.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
All right.
I like it.
Wow, that. If you ask me,
haven't been up
just
here
at a glance,
a long time. We have not been up here in a while.
I don't know that I would have guessed we'd break the top 10. Like, had not looking at the list and not going through the Pokemon, just at glance, I'd be like, I don't know, it's in the top half.
Yeah,
definitely didn't think it was brushing up against the top 5.
But here we are.
Yeah. No.
So there we are.
Yeah, there it is. I like it.
Our new number 6.
Number
Shink's
6.
still firmly in the top camp now, sitting at 18.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for today's Pokemon. Catch us next week for yet another Pokemon
episode of Unranked. Goodbye. So,
what's been going on? We're going to have a little bit of a shorter episode because we started late, and we do have a head-to-head challenge, and we got a
presentation.
Yeah, we got a presentation, and we have a question I want to get to in listener mail. So everybody, I think we should just go with the highlights from last week.
I got one highlight. One highlight for the week
Oh. No, go, please.
Yeah, please.
I got a highlight that leads into a game. I met in real life Slater.
Whoa!
I think he makes a yearly pilgrimage to see his good friend here in New York. And I was very lucky to be invited out to Peter Luger's for a steak with the two of them. And I felt terrible when I arrived because I was late, but I was much later than I thought because I in my mind had said 7:45 is when the table is for. It was for 7:15, and I didn't get there till 8. And yeah, and so
Tom was big dogging him, showing up late.
Oh my god, you're terrible. Who the fuck do you think you are? Fucking like
I know. I felt
showing up late to shoot.
When I strolled in, I was a little bit like, sorry, I'm late, like just like very chill. And it wasn't until they were like clapping me as I came in. They were giving me shit. The maitre d'
as they should.
The maitre d' was like, hey, late guy pays. And I was like, all right, it's 15 minutes. It's not terrible. Like, you know, I when I left, it said I was going to be on time, and it just, you know, it kept climbing in time. And then they just casually mentioned 7:15. I was like, wait, 7:15? And then I checked the message I had received, and it did indeed say 7:15. And then I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I did. Like, I look like such an asshole right now.
I mean, you did.
But obviously it was fine. It was great. We had great. The food was fantastic.
Can I ask you? Wait, did they not eat for 45 minutes because you were late?
They had some drinks at the bar.
Wow,
they wouldn't be sat. They wouldn't be sat until I arrived. Like
until. Oh my God,
yeah.
Tom, this is terrible. This is terrible.
I mean, Slater sent me those One Piece cards, man.
Tom,
this is an insult.
I know, and he hooked me up. He gave me like He gave me a
You
code
should have
for
been
like a
groveling.
skin for Fortnite. I was just like, I mean, look, I apologized multiple times, and they both were very, like, don't worry about it. And I was like,
no, but
just,
as soon as they said goodnight to you, they were like, this fucking
guy,
fucking guy. I'm never listening to that podcast again.
And Slater's like a new dad. You know how hard it is for him to get out of the house?
Yeah, Tom.
I mean, he had to come to New York City to do it. He had to leave his home state, which is not New York City, and come all the way here to get out of the house.
Tom, you're lucky. Yeah. You're just lucky that like they like christened me, because if it was just you, it'd be done.
Well, he's the Tuna fan club. It's much more you than anyone.
Slater would probably stop listening, you think, if it was just me doing the podcast, right? But he's still listening.
I think if Alex left the podcast, it is the Tuna fan club.
That is true. If Tuna left.
Wait, so okay, so you went there. I know I got a picture of your nice little steak dinner that I unfortunately couldn't make. I wonder if I could have gone, that you would have been on time, because I probably would have been checking constantly what time
he would have been checking.
You probably would have been like, where the fuck are you at 7:15? And I'd been like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But
yeah.
Anyway, it was fantastic, great company. They were awesome. Totally, just before everyone and their mother starts inviting us, like, Slater was just someone that is very close to the podcast, has been a part of the community for a while. We've played games. I felt
we're
like
not that
very.
No, yeah, not that many people are gonna.
I don't think this disclosure needs to be made, Tom.
I feel like there's like there's like a handful of people at which that probably answers soon. I feel like they know who they are.
Yeah, so
we're not that exclusive though. If you're in town, it's possible.
I mean, but I knew that it would be. I knew that we'd get along, and it wouldn't be like weird or anything, and it was totally natural.
You're digging yourself an even bigger grave, because now we're just assuming that there's other people that we wouldn't get. If you're in town, drop us a line. We may or may not show up.
We're kind of like
we may show up really late.
Yeah, we may show up really late. Shows how much we care about you.
It was funny because we ordered.
I don't think they were laughing. They were probably hungry. Friday night, Peter Luger's.
So I haven't been to Peter Luger's in a long time. I don't remember this, but it's literally just like the menu is like steak for one, steak for two, steak for three. Like they just label it by.
Oh really? I've never been there.
And we ordered steak for three. We ordered it medium because Slater's friend preferred medium, but it actually came out like perfectly medium rare. And I was like, "Are you okay? Like this is a rarer steak than medium." He was like, "No, it's good." And I was like, "Good, because this is fucking delicious." It was so good. They fucked up our sides and stuff, so they just brought us up.
Yeah, they fucked it up because they cooked them like they were ready for you 45 minutes ago.
Is this a place where you get reservations?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, big time. It's like
the steakhouse to go to in New York City. Yeah.
It's like fucking Delmonico's. I'm telling you right now, Tom fucked up big time. They're never getting a reservation at that place ever again. You're all connected
to the mafia.
You're all blacklisted.
Very obviously connected to the mob. It was kind of blatant and shocking. But it was great. And we had a great time, and they had plans to watch, because his friend had never seen Lord of the Rings.
Oh, hell yeah.
The next day, they were just gonna like do all three movies. Slater, let us know how that went. But
that
Slater actually,
they probably couldn't, because they went to bed so late because dinner was so late, so they had to wake up late on Saturday. So they probably couldn't finish the movie on Saturday because you fucked up their whole plan.
Slater did say, because it was, by the time we were wrapping dinner, it was getting to like 10 p.m. And Slater was like, this is usually when I'm going to bed.
Yeah. That's why the res was freaking 7:15, not 7:45 time.
Look, I felt awful. I did feel really bad.
As you should.
Yeah, it was a great evening, and Slater did put me onto a game because we were chatting, and I was asking his friend, like, "Oh, do you game?" Like, and his friend is a game. He plays like a few specific things here and there, but Slater put him onto a game recently, and then I in turn got put onto it, and I've been enjoying myself a little bit this last week. So his friend asked him, essentially said to him, I just want to be able to play Pokemon on my phone. Like, I just want to play the old Pokemon games on my phone.
Okay.
And Slater was like, I got something better for you. There's this thing called Pokemon Unbound. And it is a hack for Fire Red that completely reworks the game. It puts in a lot of the newer generation Pokemon that were never in the Sprite generation of games. So they like did custom sprites. So it like has, I think, every Pokemon through Gen 8, if I'm not mistaken. But it's all built in the Fire Red engine. It has a story, like a Game of Thrones-esque story. It's a full RPG with quests and side quests. You have a quest log. You can pick up quests from people and go on different adventures. A lot of the kind of puzzles that you would find in like the gyms, like the ice slide puzzle, because you start out in a town in the mountains, which was cool. It was like very unique. It's not just like generic town. It's like, oh no, you're like stuck in Winterfell. Like you start in Winterfell basically. And so like a lot of the environment has environmental puzzles. Obviously, because you're starting in the snowy mountains, you're getting a lot of Pokemon early that you usually wouldn't. It's not just like, here's the rodent, here's the bird. It's like, no, here are all the ice Pokemon and mountain type rock Pokemon. And they're not like locking them. So it always felt like I was running into new Pokemon to catch, which was really cool. And I'm about to tackle the first gym, which has this really cool fog mechanic, because it's meant to be like the Stoner gym. The music is phenomenal. They've completely like remixed the music.
Sounds better than the Red Rocket or whatever it was.
Yeah, this I think people pretty much, from what I was looking at online, like pretty much people consider this to be the ultimate like Pokemon mod experience.
I thought this was going to be something else, because I saw a video the other day about a new Pokemon hack that's also, I think, uses like fire, but it's a roguelike. It turns it into like a Pokemon roguelike. This sounds really cool. This sounds awesome. Can I play it on my analog?
Yes.
All right. There you go. That's I will be doing this. I will definitely check this out. This sounds cool as hell.
Yeah, you just need to have the ROM of the game, and then you have this hack file, and then you put it in an online uploader, and it creates the file you need, and it's very easy. I did it in like 5 minutes. So you can absolutely play this on your analog pocket, and and it has a bunch of great quality of life improvements. So the map is marked with like, if you pick the quest that you're tracking, it will show you where you need to go on the map. It has unlimited storage for items. It has just a ton of things that honestly like made it feel very modern, but still in that Pokemon format. And this was something Slater brought up while we were eating. He's like, I played this and it showed me that for Pokemon games to be modern, they don't need to do the open world 3D thing, which I'm not saying is not the direction they should go in, but like I'm surprised how much I felt compelled, because Slater was like, you have to play. And I was like, okay, I'll download it, I'll give it a shot. And like I've been chipping away at it right before bed every night, like, and I'm like, honest, and it's really like the characters are mysterious. There's so many story threads that have already been introduced, and I think they also may be using some bespoke Pokemon designs for like their legendaries. Like there may be some Pokemon in here that like don't exist in actual games. Anyway, it's very cool. It's called Pokemon Unbound. You can look online how to get it. Very cool. Thank you, Slater. And thank you for inviting me for the dinner. Please.
Did you buy them a sorry drink or dessert or anything?
No, but
So so you were late. He recommended you a game that you're playing now that for you, okay? And your response,
he gave me a Fortnite skin. You got to remember that, like
that as well.
Fortnite skin.
So what you gave him, okay, is a late dinner at the only time he's in New York City all year. Okay. So,
No,
Chris and I have been
that's
playing.
cool. I'm sure you know he's
No,
sounded fine.
no. Tom needs to wallow in the lateness. Okay.
I'm just trying to keep it light, you know.
No, we're not
trying to keep it. We're all mates. We're all mates.
So, are you done, Tom? Because I just have something real.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking there? What are you drinking?
Pinot Grigio.
Pinot?
Oh hell yeah, that's my white of choice.
No,
I'm not digging it, honestly.
No, I don't like Pinots.
Not all. I mean, yeah. There's a lot of bad Pinot Grigios. There's a lot of bad wine, period, no matter what.
There's a lot. Yes.
Yeah. So Chris and I have been playing some Walkabout Minigolf. Yeah. We've been playing every day. Still racing. Racing is a lot of fun. Racing is the pressure's on. It's very, very exciting. I appreciate the new mode that Chris came up with.
I was unsure when I pitched it to you, to be honest, because I didn't try it really on my own.
It's good. It's fantastic.
You know, you never know when I'm going to be like, hey, let's not play the real game. Let's play the game I came up with.
Right.
That doesn't always go well.
We still play the real game. Yeah. We're pretty, I mean, even those games go by quick. Another thing I've been doing is when Chris can't play Walkabout Minigolf, or when I get a couple free moments, I have been playing Destiny, getting ready for that final shape, which is crazy. And which is so funny because I'm going to have to watch a YouTube video because I don't know what the fuck the story is.
It's funny that you're getting your level up, because I imagine the level caps and stuff will change and renormalize again with this update, Tom.
Yeah, so at the start of every expansion, they level everyone to the same power level.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. It's more shit to do.
I could have seen Alex be like, I just spent all this fucking time getting my level up, and I could have just waited till the thing came out.
No.
Chris didn't have to fucking do anything. He opens up, he's same level as me. He's been sitting on his ass.
No person was built more for video game grinding, Destiny grinding than Alex Tuna Marinello.
This is true.
It's what put him off from the game.
And yet.
But here's the thing,
he's a layer. He contains multitudes, Chris.
You're not going to
before he finishes what he was going to say. When we've been doing racing and Walkabout Minigolf, because I just wanted to tag this on before that you're going to keep talking about. The really funny thing, because Alex says like it's intense. We're out of breath.
Yeah.
We finish the race and you'll even hear Alex. He'll go.
Yeah. The reason for that, Tom. The reason for that is we're not moving around. It's not like we're actually racing. We're not like the thing is though, is that you are in a constant state of hunched over, holding your. I'm pretty sure Chris is too.
I'm doing it too.
Holding your breath because you don't want to move or shake or anything, and you're swinging, but you're constantly swinging. So you're really just holding your breath, hitting. Getting maybe a free second, but then you've got to keep going. So you're holding your breath again, so that you know it's like a sniper shot.
And we have this very particular motion because we have the clubs. So we hit the ball, like hold your breath, like tighten up, hit the ball, and then hold the club up so you can use the other hand to press the teleport button. We're just jamming it, waiting for it to click over, and then you're like waiting. The second you feel your controller vibrate, hit the ball, do it again.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
that is true. We are out of breath. It doesn't also help that I'm just out of shape now in general. Anyway, so okay, look, here's Destiny. All right. Tom is correct. It is the perfect game for me, right? It's a checklist of things to do. And I'm into it. I'm into checklists. I like checking things off. I like completing tasks. Like that is my bread and butter. That's what I do at work. That's what I do in life. I love it. Okay, the thing that will stop me playing Destiny, and I can I'm already at the point now where if the final shape wasn't coming out soon, I would be stopping pretty quick. Is that it becomes monotonous and it's not new anymore. If I have to play the same strike, the same public event, the same go and do these patrols and then go over, then it's like you're losing me. And I'll tell you what, there's one thing right now for an exotic that you have to do these overload missions on Neptune. And they want you to do 3 of them. And I was like, okay, in 3 different areas. And then it's like, well, this area is only available today. and the next area is only available tomorrow, and the other area is available the day after that. So if you're not able to play 3 days in a row, you're not going to complete this quest until it comes around again. And that to me is extremely annoying. And the number of times that the side quests all kind of have me going to the same location to do the same thing over and over and over again, just in a different story beat, to me is what would make me stop. So I'm close to stopping now because I'm almost done with Lightfall or whatever the fuck it is, right? Or I am done. I just have this one last thing where I have to wait till tomorrow to do one of the missions, which is really fucking stupid. But then if it wasn't coming out soon, I probably would drop it now because I'd be like, all right, I'm done. Like I'm just grinding. I'm literally just grinding at this point, doing the same thing I did a couple days ago. And that to me, like, isn't fun. But to do the missions the first time and to get the new exotics and to get things to unlock when you're playing it for your first time with a new campaign, that's fun. I like that.
Yeah.
That's great. So I'll do a couple of the same missions a couple times.
Yes.
But as soon as we're in like 5 or 6, see ya. Goodbye. That's it.
I gotcha. I had a moment the other day. I was like, I was trying to play just like quickly, just get like a 10-minute, like, let's see if there's any. I'm trying to like do as many of the seasonal challenges before the end of the season. And I just like had like 15 minutes. I was like, oh, I want to play Destiny. Like maybe there's something I can do real quick. And I was like looking at the challenges and I was going through all of them. And I was like, I have to really keep track of what I'm doing here. Like, I don't even know what, like, there's this one that's like not finishes. It's like final something. There's like a specific thing. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. And then I got to one and it was like, you need to do 9 Trials of Osiris games, and I was at 8. I was like, great, I just need to do 1 Trial of Osiris. Great. I'm like, cool, gonna pick up some bounties from Saint 14 before I head into the trials. I go to Saint 14, I'm like, I can't pick up any bounties. What's going on? Do I not pick them up from Saint 14? And I'm like,
no.
Let me go to Crucible. Trials of Osiris isn't happening right now. It's you missed the window, and I'm like, fuck. And I just like, I'd already spent like 10 minutes trying to find the checklist items that I wanted to focus on. So by the time that I got to the point of like finding out that Trials of Osiris wasn't even happening, like all my time, and I was like, oh fuck this game. But I'm so excited for the final shape. Yeah, yep. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. Other than that, haven't really been playing much. Just a One Piece update. I'm up to chapter 670 something, 75, I think, or no, 79. Yeah, 679. So we're moving, we're grooving. Really enjoy it. No
Hell yeah.
complaints.
We have I told Alex in around 300 chapters or so we're going to be watching a number of episodes in a row versus reading it, because there's some of the best parts, especially at the speed he's reading it, you kind of want to savor it a little bit, and because he has it all at once, it's hard to kind of take in everything, and so then you're going to kind of like miss some stuff. And it's also sometimes you can't tell like how important like a panel or two are when they're in the sea of like, if let's say you read 10 chapters a night, you're seeing 100 panels. Like you could easily 100 pages of panels, so you could easily gloss over.
What is you're watching? You're gonna switch to watching it?
I told them there's a couple things that I think are so good that you should just watch it versus read it. And in fact, I'll be honest, it's the last thing that I watched, because like 5 episodes after this is where I caught up with it and had to switch to the manga. So I can tell you, as someone who watched it first versus reading it, I'm very glad I got to watch that happen.
Okay.
But, I wouldn't tell you to watch 1,000 episodes just to do that. I would tell you to just read up until a certain point, and then we will do that.
So this is going to be interesting.
I'm very, very excited. I'm getting so close to being able to have actual conversations about One Piece with Alex. It's exciting stuff. So I told you guys this, but I'm going to share it on the podcast because I want to gloat a little bit about this. I already went over this with you, Alex, but I went and played real mini golf with John and I got a hole-in-one on this.
Yes,
and this
I did,
is not this is not a short course. Like it's got the curt. I did a 3 bounce into a hole-in-one. John sounded angry when that happened because up until this point, I had gotten a 2 on the last, like it was like 5 holes or so, whatever hole this is, like 6th or 7th. I got it, and they were all par 4s leading up until that point. And so like he was just like, "You're playing too much fucking mini golf. This isn't fun."
Do you really think like
he wasn't totally mad, but he
you play
definitely like
daily?
was like, "Oh, someone's been practicing."
Yeah.
Does he know about your walkabout like habit? Like,
oh, he does, and he knows that also. Like, I'm on my roof I play mini golf on my roof every day because I don't necessarily roll out the putter ball, but I got 2 just standalone like holes. They're like foam on a ramp, and I just go on the roof and I hit the balls back and forth. Milo really likes to chase them, so I got foam balls that I can like whack. So I'm just like, I can hit it very straight in real life. But I got to tell you, there were 2 really weird things that happened this day. First is walkabout doesn't really translate. The only thing that translated, I think, really is like maybe eyeing like angles of hitting things, because that is the physics are the same, right? There was a hill. One was a hill where you just hit it down. It was basically you're flat and it's just a slope down and then onto another flat place. Very simple, right? And I was like, "John, watch this." I didn't think about what the real life friction was like. And I did what I would do in walkout mini golf, which is I just gave it the littlest tap. And it probably rolled about 5 inches and just stopped. It just stopped right at the top. And it was, of course, I felt so confident about this. I was like, "Hey, John, watch this." And it just fucking stopped. He was like, "What did you think was going to happen?" I was like, "This isn't what would have happened in my video." And then
if we were in
immediately
VR
after,
right now, you would have been impressed.
oh man, I was like, I just thought it's downhill, it'll keep rolling. And then I like, as I got farther away from it, I'm like, yeah, that was not that much of a grade. That was a really slight slope. I looked like fucking idiot. And then immediately after was like the first like really tough hole. It was a par 5, and that one actually should have been. A lot of the par 4 should have been a 3 or 2, I think. But this one was actually like really tough. It had like split paths, and you had to go over this big hill, and you couldn't even see where the whole like. So it's tough. We had this like little kid and his dad behind us the whole time, and no one was behind them. And like, we get to the end of the hole. Like if they finished, they would like the kid would run up and watch us. He wanted to see what the hole was, try and figure it out. Like, "Oh, where's the hole in this one?" It's like, fine. But this one, the dad walked all the way over to watch the hole because I guess, you can't see it because it is a more difficult one. And he's like right behind me as I went to my second shot to try to hit it in. And it was kind of a far shot, but like I go to hit the shot and I just hear him be like, "Oh," like, and he just made like a weird noise. And then I heard him say something to his son in German, which is how we realized he was German. But he had this, like this was his voice. He said, it was. And so then all I could think about was this guy watching me playing, and I missed 4 putts. Alex, it was just like when you just
I wouldn't be able to play with someone watching.
I couldn't play. Like I stopped after the second miss, and I like looked at him, and then I went back to the ball, and I missed. And he went, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh my God!"
There's absolutely no way I'd be able to play with anyone watching me. Absolutely.
I told John, I was like, "John, I can't." I was like, "I don't know if I can play with this guy behind me."
Yeah.
And he was like, "We should ask them after the next hole." So after the next hole, we were like, "You guys go ahead. You guys go ahead." We were like, "You go." And he was like, "Oh, it's okay." And we were like, No, you go. You go.
Oh boy.
It was the fucking worst, dude. It was so bad. It was like he was like in my brain. I couldn't. It really just threw me for a loop for the rest of the game. I played. If you look at the first like 9 holes up until then, and then after, it was like it completely broke me. I lost all my golf confidence. I thought.
I wouldn't be able to. No way. Someone watching
no
like
way,
that?
man.
No way. No way.
And the other thing,
Mm-hmm.
Teresa and I started watching Andor.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
First time through. Been saving it. It's been in the back burner. We were watching something else when it started, and I was like, oh, I'll get to it. And then we just never got to it. And then it's just been sitting there like, when is it going to be? And it was just never the right time. And now it was. And man, very good. I mean, that episode, like where they do the plan and everything was great. And like that escape, there's that escape sequence was
boop, boop, boop,
you know,
boop, boop, boop.
yeah, I mean, I'm just, hey, look, it's a Star Wars movie. There's an escape sequence. Big,
where in the show are you now from that?
I have 3 episodes left, which.
So you've seen the arc that I feel like everyone kind of points to the show as. You've seen the arc following that trio of episodes.
Like a really short arc.
So they have that.
That was a really gentle. I don't even know if the mic's just barely picked that up.
Because we're I don't know where the hell this is. Yeah, I don't know how much more he's gonna.
All right. So the arc you're talking about, they're on a forest planet, right?
No, that's done.
Right. That was what you were talking about just now, though.
Yeah.
Then
so okay, here you go. I have jury duty next week. Don't know if I have to go in. I'll find out. I call in day up. I have jury duty next week. This is real. I have jury duty next week. That is similar to the last thing I just saw on the show. In a way. Now, it's in a really tangential way that you have to think about to get there. So it can't really be a spoiler.
What are you talking about?
All right. I'm just going to text you.
Okay. Text us. Because I don't want to spoil it for you either. Like that's the other thing that I am like avoiding here is like, you say you only have 3 episodes though. So I feel like, okay, you have more than 3 episodes.
I don't.
I'm pretty really.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So you are about to enter.
I'm about to. Honestly, the person I've been waiting for. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
Okay.
It's great. And Teresa and I have been, just for some weird reason recasting it, and we'll get into that next week because I was going to put it together.
Well, hold on a second. Wait.
What?
You say that you haven't seen this person yet. What episode number are you on?
Because I'm pretty sure there's more than 3 left.
Dude, it's not a 10 episode season.
Oh, I thought it was only 10 episodes.
12. No, it's 12.
Oh, okay. Well, then they might not be showing up yet then.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
That's why I was.
That's great though, because I thought we were going to finish it by tomorrow night, and that means we'll have it to watch through the weekend.
See, that's when you told me yesterday that you were at the point you were, and I was like, when do we meet so and so? And I said about halfway.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Well, they designed it to be 4 3-arc episodes. Like every arc is 3 episodes. So
I see why you were confused now when I told you that.
That's why I was like, if you only got 3 episodes left, like you've gotten through arguably just. I mean, I cannot wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah,
like that was the thing is like when
this is good. I'm actually really glad to hear this because
I'll say this. It too much now.
Up until the last 2 episodes, I'd say like it hasn't been the best Star Wars stuff on Disney Plus. Like it's been good. Like there've been moments that were good, but like it's not better than the best Mandalorian stuff. I don't think it's better than Ahsoka, the first 5 episodes.
I mean, I haven't seen Ahsoka, but Andor might be my favorite Star Wars thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very excited to see. I still have a lot left. That's great. I didn't realize that. I thought I was at the end, and I still have off a big chunk. So that's awesome. I thought it was shorter than it was. That's great. Good for me. Exciting stuff.
Good for you. No, seriously, good for you.
Yeah, excited. All right. Let's just move into.
Well, I was going to say, do we want to talk Survivor?
Jesus Christ. How did I forget about... Yeah, we got it. I mean, we have our text chat has been dead because all of us just want to talk about Survivor and we didn't talk about it.
Okay, so spoilers for the finale of this season of Survivor. For anyone that is listening that doesn't want to be spoiled. There we go.
Congratulations to Alex. You are this season's draft winner.
Yes.
A number of terrible mistakes made by basically everyone on that cast. They got what they deserved by being yet again one of the worst Survivor casts.
Yeah, and again, I got to be honest with you, Maria solidified to me my absolute I do not like her at all now. And that
Alex,
she was so bitter.
I was wrong and you were right.
Look, she was so fucking bitter that she didn't vote for Charlie. And it's like, I honestly see that as such a piece of shit move. Like, I'm in control. I don't think that come on.
Therese has come up to me several points in the day today and just been
Maria is such a piece.
She'll be like, I'm so fucking pissed at Maria.
Yeah, Maria is such a piece. Like, really is. And I really don't like we need to get back to the reading of the votes in front of a live audience months later. Okay. I really feel like that's missing. And I feel like the applause and the big, and then, but I really don't like that Kenzie has announced the winner, and then Jeff is like, bring out the champagne, bring out the pizza. While Charlie has to sit there and stew the fact that Maria didn't vote for him, the fact that he played 25 days and isn't going home with $1 million, even though arguably, he probably look, he said what he said, which is the jury picks the winner, and that's the winner. And there's no real person who should have won versus someone
like a champ.
He did, but at the same time, you're sitting there stewing on it. That sucks. You know what I mean?
Imagine though the alternative where Maria's had to know for the last 10 months that she fucking backstabbed Charlie and has been sitting on it, waiting for this reveal to come. While Charlie's probably found out through some kind of a grapevine, because I bet someone's going to be like he would probably pick up on the fact that Maria didn't vote for him. It would come to his information, either from talking to her, or she would be ignore, it would have come out. And if it didn't, could you imagine seeing that disappointment live and then seeing him have to deal with social media instantly after that happening versus him at least having 10 months to be prepared for this event?
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
I really Maria really solidified for me that she's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. Really did.
She's the most ruthless player, but not for a good reason.
No. Look, if you beat me fair and square, I would not be that bitter. I would not have been that bitter. There's no, I never saw her even talk 2 words to fucking Kenzie.
Now, I'll say this.
God. I mean, Thomas
Maria had to vote for him. So for Maria, there was no real choice. But I didn't think that Charlie had done a good job at the final tribal of selling himself. I think he cut himself short. He didn't focus on how he had won challenges and was the only one to beat Hunter. So I think he dropped the ball there and on selling himself for what he did with the money. But him not wanting to make fire, the second that was taking place, I was like Mackenzie just won. I was like, that's it. That's just it. That was enough for them. I mean, even Hunter seemed kind of bummed that he made that choice.
I got to be honest with you, the whole making fire situation at the end is such a curveball thing. I know, well, not a curveball, but such it weighs very heavily. That whole idea that give it up and make your own fire, or you should make fire, and if you don't make fire, you're a bitch. It just seems to me like the fire making has become extremely important at the final, and I don't know that it should be. And I feel like every single time we get to I get why they made it 3 people instead of 2 in the final, but every time it's between one guy, one part. Well.
You have the exact same thoughts I do here, except the one thing I'll say is I like the fire making, but I would like them to go back to 2 people in the end. So fire making takes place between the final 3, not the final 4.
I like that. Yeah,
I think that would be better.
I would have liked to have just seen a tie to see what Ben would have done.
Well, that's the worst part. because Ben says he would have picked Charlie.
Right.
I mean, honestly, I think at the end of the day, like, I liked Kenzie out of those three. I like Kenzie out of everyone the most on that. You know, I think her social game was really strong, and I do think that it was strategic in a way. Like, you know, when I think about playing Survivor, you have to thread such a needle of being good but not so good that you're gonna get taken out like Maria was. Like, you and
I know, but
I thought she,
but I felt like
and
Charlie
think
did that and she didn't.
tribal,
I felt like she was just good at being popular.
I think that gameplay wise, Charlie yes, outplayed her. I do think that. But yeah, I just think when it came down to the final tribal that he didn't present himself well, and Kenzie just like had a good answer for everything, even when the answer wasn't like a slam dunk. It was like very on her terms and stuff. I actually thought the jury was the most ruthless I've seen them out of all of them. Like, they had like very specific questions, and like the timing thing with Tiff was rough. Like, she was like, yeah.
I don't know.
But
You know, I feel like in recent years it's been a very, very heavily not like the winner has not been the person that I thought played the best.
No,
like,
it's the person with the best story, which is like, is
but
that
that's been what it's
I
been
hate
recently,
how much that's
and I hate that now.
Yeah. Yep.
I hate
when
it
Q
now.
was like, "What do you do with the money?" I'm like,
yeah,
I get why that's important, but that's been deciding every season. Yep,
it has been, and well, almost, yeah. And I agree. I think that like that's then go. I don't know, win the lottery or something. Like maybe I don't know. Like,
it never felt more apparent to me than this season, though, because I said to Therese before Q asked this question, I'm like, I'm glad they're not focusing on like their sob stories and everything else, because it felt like the show was just becoming like trauma porn, and like, let's give the person who we think can use the money the most for the the best reason, like let's award them for that, and not like the fucking challenge we all did and said we were going to do for the money. And then Q asked that question, I'm like, oh, there we go. Like,
yeah, that I agree, because Tuna and I we were watching it live, so we were texting, and Tuna texted me. He's like, "I hate that question." I was like, "Yeah, it's kind of irrelevant. Like, it's kind of irrelevant.
It's irrelevant to the game of Survivor.
It's irrelevant because it's too relevant. If,
well, no,
if people didn't weigh it like that much, if it was weighed, you know, far less, then like it's a question you want to know, because if you're like, I'm completely torn between two people, it's like, well, who would you rather win the money then?
Right. Yeah. Well, it almost feels like it's like the jury shouldn't be deciding who deserves the money. The jury should be deciding who played the best game of Survivor. And I don't think Survivor is a game of who deserves this money. Like, I don't care about your fucking sob story. Like, I don't care about that kind of crap. I care about the game. Like, and I feel like that was the same thing that happened with Big Brother, not about money, but just like her story. The woman who won a couple of years ago, like they like went with her story instead of who played the best game of Big Brother.
I did turn to Brooke and I did make the joke. I was like, they're about to crown Bran King of Westeros here.
They are.
You know, and it's funny we say this though, but I was like, I really don't want, because there was a moment I was worried Liz was going to go to final 3, and she seemed so fucking confident that she was going to win that I was like, could Liz win this? And I was like, if Liz wins this, I mean, I don't know. Like, there were sometimes, like, for example, like there were past.
I'll be honest, I wanted to see it happen because I wanted them to like deliver us a super cut of things they like hid throughout the season, and just it'd be like Memento for a moment on like Survivor, and it would be amazing. But that was never going to happen. There's no reality.
She just seemed so confident. I was like, we must have been missing stuff, because I know that there's been important stuff that's been cut that is crucial to the context of how they vote in the finale. Like, there was, I think, the first season in the new era, there was that guy Xander, and I thought like that final tribal he was going to win it, and he didn't get a single fucking vote. Carolyn didn't get a single fucking vote. You know, so there's always stuff.
You might be thinking of Zeke. Wasn't it Zeke?
No, it was a guy called Xander. But
I thought Xander was the one in whatever. There was a guy who in the first episode thought he was like controlling. I thought his name was Xander. He was controlling the whole thing, and he got voted out day one. Anyway,
no, this is the guy in 41 who made it to the final 3 and he didn't get a vote.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but, Carolyn, you're right. Carolyn didn't get a single vote last.
I think everyone's
Yeah.
overlooking a bigger problem with the jury.
Oh, uh-oh.
I think they need to be isolated from one another in Ponderosa. I don't think they should be allowed to talk to each other.
I agree.
I think it's very obvious from hearing about how people talk about what happens in Ponderosa and everything else that they are deciding on their own terms, and they're forming like more tribes, and they're being like, well, we have votes for this person, and that's how the decision is actually being made. And I think there's way too much chatter. I think they should absolutely be isolated from one another. They should only be there during the juries, and then they can ask their questions in front of the group, but that's it. Because the questions were so targeted from the different groups of different voting blocks that were available that like this one's gonna make Charlie look good, this one's gonna make Mackenzie look good, this one's gonna make Charlie look good. Like it was so obvious that like people had their minds made up before they got there. And so
I mean, they
cut them apart.
About, like,
don't let them hang out.
Yeah, I agree. They even talk about like who came in and switched their, changed their votes. A lot of them, pretty much everyone had an idea of like maybe who they were voting for. The other thing that complicates the whole situation, we saw it in the finale, was like they've been talking about moments, and so when they're presenting moments, like there's wait, but I heard this. I'm like, well, we didn't see any of that.
Yeah,
you guys like fucking around in Ponderosa or whatever, like that is not a part of this story. And so like those moments I think need to be like the context and narrative needs to be kind of driven in that, like, because it has to be about the final three presenting their story, right? Like there is that storytelling
they've got to cut them off
element
from each other. That's the only solution.
But it should be the survivor story. I don't want to hear about your trials and tribulations before this, so much so that it's like we're giving them, I don't know, the person who they like. I get it that it can be a popularity contest, but it really needs to go back to being who played the best game. I know, but in the previous,
a bunch of different factors.
Honestly, in 2/3, like I feel like 2/3 of the way, I don't know, what are we at, 46 now? Like I've never felt more like more and more winners are less deserving of winning it based on their play.
I totally agree.
Recently than I have ever before. Like I've always thought in the past that like the people who won genuinely deserve to win, and sometimes it was close, right? But the person who still won, I was like, they got to the end, and then the sometimes two strong people got to the fucking end. It was a strong guy and two fucking weaklings, and the person who didn't win. Well, here's another problem too. Charlie sucks at puzzles, clearly. Okay, that is another issue. Is what factored in there, because he couldn't win the two last immunity challenges, and if he had, we might have been singing a different tune.
Well, let's also fucking talk about like the most bootlicker fucking action I've ever seen in all of Survivor. The worst fucking shit. I was so mad. I will forever hate Liz more than anyone else for that move where she ran back and helped Mackenzie get an immunity. Like, are you fucking kidding me? That's the most like suck up, kiss ass, bolt. Like, you can't fucking do it on your own, so you're gonna help someone else beat the person you can't beat. You fucking lose. Like,
and arguably,
terrible.
Arguably, Maria might have won that, which means she would have been immunity.
Maria probably would have won that,
which means that Charlie would have gone. Charlie
that's
maybe
why I'm
would have
like,
gone home, or Kenzie would have gone home.
Yeah, that's why I'm like a little bit like lenient. Like, out of all of the things that Liz has said and done, that was honestly lower on my annoyance list, because I was like, well, she had a directive. We cannot let Maria win this. She has to go home. Which was honestly what pissed me off more. What fucking pissed me off more with this. I hate this woman. What pissed me off more is that Maria just strutted into camp, name dropped Ben as an option to vote out, and then she's considering it. I'm like, you just helped Kenzie try to beat her.
In that moment, though, man, in that moment, I'm like, is Maria about to pull off the most unfathomable thing possible?
I know. I thought it was going to happen, because I really thought Liz was going to be like gullible. But I can never tell with this woman.
No, but anyway. the whole Liz thing with the fact that at the end they were like, when she said, "Oh no, they're on to me," I'm like, "On to what?" Like, am I like that's when I texted you. I'm like,
she was crying. Oh, I would have won.
That's another thing. Enough with the crying. How many times you can see people cry on this show? Like, enough with the crying, people. And then the whole thing that her ligaments were too big for her wrist. That was that when she said that, I was like, I don't know if I believe anything that you said.
Yeah, I don't trust her, especially because she's come out and said that she's not a millionaire, which I don't know if I even trust that.
Right. Well,
one of the funniest tweets. One of the funniest tweets I saw afterwards. Sorry, real quick. One of the funniest tweets I saw afterwards was someone was like, "I wish Gabler's ligaments were too long for his joints or whatever."
Well, Chris, I don't know if you remember this, but I told Tom this. The whole ligament being too big, right away when Carl Pilkington went to the chiropractor, the chiropractor told him that his nerves were too long. His legs were too long, too short. His nerves were too short for his body or something. And Ricky was like, "This is the most bullshit thing I've ever heard in my life." I mean, it's Liz. The fact that Liz at the end said they're on to me, I was like, Liz, what are you talking about? Like, if you had a strategy, I have sure. Like, you're out of your mind.
That was a great shot. A great,
most insufferable person on the show.
This is the one thing. And I don't have context from a lot of the previous show, but the cinematography and editing production is just so on point. The point where she is trying to plead her case to Charlie to not go to fire, and it's a close-up of Charlie's face, and he's just there like, and she is like cracking her wrist in front of him, and we have the subtitles on because we're at my parents' house watching it, so it was kind of on low, and it just like had wrists cracking and him going She's like, "Listen to this."
It was so weird, dude.
Wait, another weird thing.
Also, Ben was like, "I don't think I could beat you. I'm sorry. You gotta go to fight." I'm like, "What, are you out of your fucking mind, Ben? What the fuck?"
Ben was so the whole thing
Ben
with the Kenzie vote. What a
Ben was a mess.
What a mess. Okay. So one last thing and then we'll move on.
Nice guy. Total wreck.
When they come in for the final immunity challenge, and two things happened that I never want to see again. One was Jeff doing a little voice. "Welcome to your final immunity challenge." Like, what? Okay. And then Liz with a cane walking up, and then Jeff having to ask, "Oh, are you injured? Is that no, it's a joke, but I'm still gonna go with it." Grandma Mima. Oh, like what? Like, we don't need bits.
It was also not a good grandma voice.
It was horrible, and I don't know why Jeff thinks he's doing a little voice. I mean, he's just
Jeff's little voice.
I think Jeff approached it like someone would approach another person who you think is unstable and might have a meltdown, and you just try and play into their weird delirium. I think Jeff approached it thinking like, I don't want to upset her, make her scream.
She might fucking lose her shit.
Yep.
Anyway, great season.
Can't wait. 47.
They should just do a season of like the worst, most unhinged, like Banu.
Get Banu, get Liz, bring them all back.
Jelinsky, get
I want
Carolyn.
A season of all. I want a season of all. How about a season of everyone who's been voted out first every season?
The Island of Misfits.
The
Island of Misfits is good. Yeah,
that'd be good. I'd watch the fuck out of that. It'd be amazing. Imagine being the first person to get voted out first again. First person ever voted out first twice.
Yeah.
You are the ultimate worst survivor player.
You're the worst survivor player ever.
Every single person in that group, after the first one's over and they aren't the person, would just leave out like the largest collective sigh in history. They're like, "Oh, thank God."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, seriously.
I think I'm also a big proponent. I think we said this last time of bringing back 2 tribes, not 3.
Yes, 2 tribes. Yes,
2.
Yes. Yep.
Not 3. 2.
Yep. I agree. I think after this season, after a season with a single idol play, they really just shake up some new mechanics.
Amazing. Yeah.
Just shake up some new mechanics.
Shake it up. Yeah. Go back to the drawing board.
Yep. All right.
News.
All right.
Or do you want to
Tom,
skip?
do we have any relevant?
I don't think we have anything.
email it on rankedpodcast.com or go to the show notes, click on the link for the Discord, and go to questions for a pod. Leave us a question, comment, thought, whatever you want. Drop it. Got one from Narcus here, Tom. Narcus wants to know, what character from any game made that game better because they were in it?
That's a great question.
Now, that's I kind of wish I had read this and then asked a follow-up, because I don't know if they just mean like that character made the game better, or like that character showed up in the game, like that you didn't know, like, you know, is either like in another franchise or in another. Do you know what I mean? Kind of like,
I think it's the former.
Darth Vader showing up
like,
in a game that you don't think he's going to be in.
I take that question as like, what character is so good in a video game that if they were not in it, the game wouldn't nearly be as good as it was. I think that's the read on it.
But in a video game, some characters are central to the whole story. You take them out, there is no story.
Sure, but like, I think in terms of like, if you're talking about like the writing and the performance and like the emotional ties, sure, you can think of it technically like, well, there's no game without that character. But I think it's just like anyone who isn't a protagonist, anyone who's like a side character.
So like, what about Merrin? Because Merrin kind of makes those games for me.
Oh, in Jedi, great. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, she's a great pick.
Like, without Merrin, I think
especially
that game,
in Survivor.
Yeah, so I am thinking more about Survivor.
Yeah, Merrin is great. Honestly, I want to preface this with saying, like, this was like my first experience with this franchise properly, and so like I just think I have a pretty like strong tie to this character. But I think that like the reason why I rate Twilight Princess so high is because I think Midna is the best companion, like character, that kind of character that they've had in those games. I just think like her story, the manifestation of the Twilight through her kind of like attitude was really cool. And like, especially when you have a main character who doesn't talk and is just kind of there for you to play as, she was such the kind of like carrying force of that game. Whereas in most games, it's like the dynamic of Link with Zelda, right? That is, you know, and like that is the character that's carrying it. So like Midna for me was the first character that jumped out for me of like, I think Twilight Princess would be not nearly as memorable for me without that character. But I like Merrin a lot.
Hell yeah.
Tunes, any thoughts?
I mean, I think that if God of War wasn't
say God of War
voiced the way that it was,
I
don't know that it would hit the same for me as it does. I think that the voice acting is very good. Even in the spots where it isn't cutscenes, even in the spots where I'm playing and Atreus and Kratos are talking to one another, I think it's really well done. And I think like it's one of the few instances where I've actually paid attention to a conversation that's happening not in a cutscene, because I think it's done so well.
Speaking of God of War,
but I would then say Mimir is probably, for me, that character then. So I'm good, like double part answer is the voice acting in general, and then Mimir being the storyteller and them doing it in such a good way, I think makes that game fantastic.
I want to do two quick shout outs real quick.
Me too.
Okay.
Firstly, love that answer. I love Mimir. The actual MVP though for Ragnarok, and I think you'd agree with this, Tuna, is Sindri, the dwarf brother.
Oh yeah.
And the story he goes on. I mean, his kind of emotional climax at the end of the game is the moment that hit me, and is like the thing that I remember most from Ragnarok, and I think is the most honestly interesting story thing that game does toward the end. Like, I complained to you about, like, I was expecting a bit more. It just kind of, the story kind of just like plays out as you'd expect, and then Sindri has this moment that I was like kind of stunned by. And so I actually think Sindri for me with Ragnarok, and I did not expect that. And then the other one I'm thinking of is Roman, Nico's cousin from GTA 4.
Oh,
I just honestly,
cousin.
Cousin, let's go bowling. I just remember like being so invested in like his troubles and like his strife. Like, that was so much of what was pulling me through that game, was like trying to find out where his story went. And I think Nico Bellic is kind of a whatever protagonist in that game. So I think that's also someone I'd shout out.
I'm gonna go with the Merchant in Resident Evil 4. I've never been great with spooky games, and the Merchant was this guy, whenever he'd show up, who had this ridiculous, "What are you buying?" It's like, and it just like kind of pulls you out of the game briefly, because you're like also in a safe zone. So you're like, all right, I'm in a safe zone. I'm talking to this weird motherfucker.
Take a breather.
What do you buy?
Shopping. Yeah.
But then for an equal reason, I can't decide between the two because they're both that important, weirdly. But like either one of them being missing would markedly disrupt the game for me. Ati in in Alan Wake, or the janitor, in Control. Man, Alex, I can't wait for you to play those games. You're gonna have such a good time. And also Mr. Door. Like, man, anytime Mr. Door turns up, shit's getting real, man.
Game of the year, man.
God.
Last year, dude.
It really, honestly, I still can't believe it. It's a genre that I do generally not enjoy. Like, it's too spooky for me. But the game and the story was so fucking compelling. Like, it was so compelling.
And as you mentioned, the characters,
the characters, like, it was so good. I've never played anything like it. Other than maybe Control in some ways. But right, it did it so much better than Control did the game part a lot better. Alan Wake did the story part a lot better. So it makes me very excited for Control 2. So
yeah, right. I'm excited for to experience those.
And I'm sorry, we have to do this question because it is time relevant. Boat Boy, Steve, writing in, just letting you know, you guys are my entertainment.
Steve?
Our Boat Boy. So he's got a Survivor podcast, so this is relevant.
The guy still listens to the podcast?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Boat Boy is just letting us know that he says we're his entertainment while he does his marathon training, long runs on Saturdays.
Wow.
What words of encouragement would you not give to someone running at this very moment? So, okay, what words of encouragement do you not give to someone running? So basically, what should we not tell him right now? Assumedly, he's running right now.
Don't knock over all the water.
I was gonna say when you're at 13.5 miles, you're only halfway.
Fuck. Man, yeah, I wonder if it's full marathon or I mean, I've never done more than a 5K. I've never done more than a 5K.
I did a couple of half marathons, not like in an official setting, but like I just ran them. And I just remember getting to the end of them and just being like, I cannot imagine doing that again right now.
Yeah.
Let alone like fucking Ironman challenges when it's like, okay, now swim 2 miles.
Yeah.
And bike 100
What are the worst
miles,
parts of that, you think? Is it the fatigue? Do you think it's the cramps? Or do you think it's like when it's done, boredom. You've accomplished it?
It's boredom.
The boredom. It is really boring.
It's so boring.
You're just like trapped in your mind, waiting for time, but the more you think about the time and what you're doing, the worse it is. And then you're just like, you get stuck in a loop of just like, definitely don't think about what you're doing. Don't think about how boring it can be. Don't think about how much time is left. Just remember that even when you're all done, you're going to be really sore, and then you're going to be really tired and in pain.
And you'll have a medal.
Yeah, you'll get some kind of a medal.
Yeah, honestly, boredom is the big one, because I just remember like I ran, the way I did it was like I ran across across. It was back when I was in college. I ran across Philly, which was 3 miles, and then I did it back, and then I ran up the Schuylkill River and back. And then I was like, I don't know where I'd go. Like, I was like, I literally, unless I just did that again, which would have been so fucking boring. I was like, what new route? Like, you have like when they do marathons, like the trails are insane because like they don't double up. They like do a whole route. Yeah, boredom. So if you're listening to this, Steve, I hope you're not bored to death and don't want to jump in a river.
All right. Well, speaking of being bored to death, I think before we do our new challenge, we have some lingering things from the last challenge. So Tom lost our last head-to-head challenge, which means he has a presentation for us. So Steve, here is something that you probably don't want. This is gonna be like marathon training. Alex, it's time for Tom's presentation.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna say this.
Do you want to say it or show it? You're going to take over.
I'm going to share. I'm going to share my screen. But you know, you're talking about boring things. I think I have a firecracker of a presentation for you right now that is going to kind of upend your whole way of thinking.
Okay.
I described what I gave you to Alex, and by simply telling him that I basically got back at you for picking Call of Duty with this.
All right, can't wait. Let's see it.
Yes. So hang on a second. I'm just getting it all prepped. Why is
I basically gave Tom homework.
Mm-hmm.
Man, homework sucked. I'm so glad I don't have to do homework anymore.
Yeah, seriously.
I work from home, but I don't do homework.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Here we go. So here's the thing. We've got an incredible story for you that no one is talking about.
Clearly.
Everything you thought you knew about the mountain whitefish is a lie.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. I got to be honest, because this is supposed to be about the mountain whitefish.
It is about the mountain whitefish, and it's about how we have been fed a whole crock of shit about the mountain whitefish. Because
when was I ever fed anything about mountain whitefish?
Well, you're about to be fed some stuff now, and prepared to get retroactively very angry. So this is the mountain whitefish, aka it's known as the trash fish. Okay. And this is because the mountain whitefish is found in the rivers and lakes on the Pacific, the western side of America, in the mountains, right, in the waters. And it's known as the trash fish because they outnumber trout 10 to 1. For every trout you find, there are 10 mountain fish, and people are primarily fishing for trout, and like people like fucking just like they don't even throw them back in the water. They like throw them off to the side and let them like fucking die, because people think that that mountain whitefish and trout compete for food, and that they buy. This is two people compete. You know, they're beefing.
Tom has like a slide up from like what looks like a Mean Girls knockoff.
Yes, like
looks like the Hallmark version
from a Getty Image like generic photo that is like meant to be Mean Girls. So people think that the mountain whitefish and trout compete for food, and that when they catch the mountain whitefish, they discard it because they want it out of the ecosystem, but they don't compete for food at all. Trout primarily eat like insects and things toward the surface, but if you notice, in this fish, it has this kind of bottom lip, the mountain whitefish. It has this, and they actually feed more on the bottom of the lake. And so they don't actually compete for food.
Which, by the way, I learned is we had to like lower our little buoy thing to catch them apparently easier in the game, which was not a thing I
Right.
Yes, me neither, but now we know. And everything you thought you knew about the mountain whitefish is a lie. Okay, so they don't compete for food with trout.
Right.
In fact, their eggs feed trout. One of the primary sources of food for trout is mountain whitefish eggs, because there are these things called redds, okay, REDDS. That is basically a fish egg nest where most fish will burrow into like the bed of the lake or the river or whatever and bury their eggs, and that's called a redd. Mountain whitefish don't do that. They just kind of free release their eggs into the water.
Fucking floating around.
Yeah. And I think they do go, from what I was reading, like they do go toward the bottom of the bed, but they don't dig. They don't like actually create a nest.
They sink, but they don't have to be buried.
Yes, but it means that they're very readily available, and it's one of the sources of food that the trout do eat. So by killing and by removing mountain whitefish from the ecosystem, you're hurting the trout. And then here's the kicker. The brown trout are the invasive species. The native species of this region is the mountain whitefish. They were detected in the region like a century before trout were ever spotted. And it seems like the trout have come in from, I think, the north, from like Canada. And they have kind of taken over this territory and have basically been, now these are the prize fish, but it was always the mountain whitefish's territory. And here's the thing, the species is in decline. The mountain whitefish species is in decline. Now, scientists don't necessarily think it's just because of like fishing in the region and people like discarding them. They think there's actually a disease that is spreading among the mountain whitefish because of climate change. But the problem is mountain whitefish are so important to the ecosystem of the region that it is having a big effect for the entire ecosystem. Like literally, like it goes up into Canada and goes down all like through Utah, like through all those like almost coastal states, almost down to like Mexico.
Utah's not a coastal state.
Huh?
Utah's not a coastal state.
I said almost, like all the states, like it's not in California and Oregon. It's like a line of states over is the region.
All right.
And then just one final fun fact. The oldest known Mr. White was 29 years old. Mr. White, also a nickname for the mountain whitefish. And the oldest one to ever be caught was dated at 29 years old,
Alex.
which is ironically the age that Alex was when this picture was taken. If you could believe it.
I didn't know who that was at first. I thought it was David Baddiel for a second, to be honest with you, Alex.
So there you go. Everything you thought you knew about the mountain whitefish is a lie. And we got to save them. We got to, like, these trout, man, they have been, and the people are just like literally like throwing them in trash cans.
Trout's PR group have done.
Oh yeah, Trout has like Boeing's PR team.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Man. So there you go.
I'm impressed, Tom. That was better than the One Piece one. That was great. Well researched. I feel like I actually learned a handful of. I basically told Tom. I told him, Alex. I was like, I want to learn something. I was like, don't phone this in. Don't just like make stuff up. I was like, I want to learn. That was good.
No, I wasn't gonna make stuff up. But originally
interested.
Originally, it was just gonna be like a pretty like, here are some fun facts about the mountain whitefish. But the more I read, I was like, oh my god, why aren't we fighting? We need to fight for the mountain whitefish. Like a whole like half of America's like ecology relies on this fish.
We should put these presentations out on YouTube Shorts.
And market is like safe for kids, like educational content.
I mean, now see, look, at least something interesting came out of Call of the Wild, the Angler. All right, well, Tom, you chose the next contest.
I did.
So why don't you go and introduce it?
So I said to the lads, hey, why don't we install some Modern Warfare Warzone, which apparently is now like 200 gigabytes. If I had known that myself, I would not have asked us to do that because I didn't think it was that big. But it was to get the most kills in a game of Call of Duty Warzone in a match, and that was the challenge.
So it's not going to happen. But Alex and I were talking about what happens if there's a tie ever for who's in last, because last place has to get the presentation. And Alex had a great suggestion. Alex, do you want to deliver this, please?
What?
What was your great suggestion?
For what?
For what happens if we get a tie?
Oh! Jesus Christ. Okay. If there is a tie, we will not do any tiebreaker scenarios anymore. What we will do is we will create one PowerPoint presentation on one topic. However, let's say Chris and I tie, I will create the slides for Chris to present, and Chris will create the slides for me to present, and we will alternate on and off.
Gotcha.
That's in the event of a tie.
Yeah, for last, not a tie for first. A tie for first, we should figure out in advance what the answer is going to be, so we don't have to have a tie break. But whatever. Tom, have you sent yours over?
I'm about to.
Or you can just screen share it from your computer as well. How many times do you guys attempt?
I did one.
You did one attempt?
One attempt?
I did one attempt. I felt so that was the part of the problem of us having to leave early, is that I didn't have time, but I feel very good about my one attempt. I was like, I'm not. Yeah. So yeah, I did it in one, and then I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do better than that. So we shall see.
I feel like Tom. I feel like the attempt count that we should be going for should probably be a little higher than it usually is.
I agree.
I feel like we got to take these a little more seriously. However, I gave it 5. I gave 5 attempts, which I got to tell you, it's too much time. It's too much time because it takes so long to get into a match. Like the wait time between matches is so annoying, and then loading in, and then I spend as much time on those 5 attempts as I did on any other challenge, but on all the other challenges, you were doing so this was a hard one, I think, to do that way. All right. I say we start with me this time.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Here's my attempt at Call of Duty. Here I am in the gulag. Didn't know how the gulag worked, by the way.
Who didn't?
I didn't know there was a timer.
Oh, you didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a
Your
timer.
fight's over, soldier. Return to base.
Oh, this is it.
Yeah, there's that.
It's a valiant effort. Keep your head up. Return to base for debrief.
Oh my God. Yes.
You know what? After 5 attempts without a single kill, I wasn't going to do it anymore.
Okay, fair enough.
Because even if I got 1 or 2 kills, it would probably that would not be enough to win. So I said, who am I kidding? I'm not putting 10 hours in this to still lose. I could play this 24 hours a day and still suck. Right?
Yeah.
That's
right. You play this 24 hours a day, you still suck.
I just thought it was gonna be you showing us getting the gulag kill, but it wasn't even that.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got Tuna here.
Yep. That is me.
Ooh, up on the roof.
Oh yeah.
The enemy took that one, but we'll get them back.
Okay. 30 seconds, pretty good.
Look at Tom's face.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
Oh, 6 kills.
Pretty good.
Jesus, are you kidding me?
Well, why wait till we see Mr. Tom Caswell hit it with a 10?
Alex, I
something.
played 5 games and I didn't get one. I'm impressed.
At least I'm not doing the fucking PowerPoint. Where's that thing that you sent me? The thing that you played all these things just to suck. Here it is. 6? Oh my god.
I mean, look at this gear.
I know, it's ridiculous.
I didn't know how to get over this.
Oh my god.
7 kills. 7 kills.
Damn.
Congrats.
And I almost had 8 because I had downed someone else by sniping them, but they had a kit, so I didn't get the kill there. And I made a kind of a fatal error in the last moments.
Yeah.
And the shot that killed me was like I shouldn't have exposed myself in the way that I had. And I really think I could have got a couple more in that. I was so, because I kind of went in, I was like, you know what, like I do think I have a little bit of an edge. I've definitely played this game and I enjoyed this game more than Tuna and Chris. But I was like, I really just have the time, unfortunately. And trust me, like I wanted to like throw more tries at it, but just timing wise, it didn't end up working out. But I was like, 7's pretty good. I feel like, you know, for where we're all at.
That's great. I'll be honest, I was worried when I saw Alex got 6 kills.
At least I'm not doing the PowerPoint.
Now, Tom, you're not, I mean, you were probably going to just tell me in secret, but do you know what the PowerPoint is already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have one device for each of us, or was it going to be the same no matter what it was?
I had one device for each of you.
I had a feeling. I actually haven't thought of one yet for Alex. But I do think it's possible that might happen in the future. So the next challenge, Tom, I'm sorry, you got to win. You earned one, but it's not your turn to pick. Because now we're just gonna go. We're just gonna go in order. So I'm picking this time, then Alex. So Tom, you have like 4 weeks to decide what before you're back up. You got 5 because we're probably gonna add a week because Alex has to travel the same week you're gonna go to Summer Games Fest. So we should add this one will be 3 weeks from now. Then it'll be the week after Summer Games Fest.
All right, come on, we're waiting with bated breath. What is the challenge?
All right, so we are gonna play a game on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay.
Here's where it's gonna get interesting. Okay. We're gonna play. So do you have the the classic consoles on the Switch? You can play like the NES games and N64, all those games. Yeah. We're gonna play a game on the Super Nintendo, and everyone gets 35 minutes. So your save file has a timer on it, and it'll tell you like what time you're at. You get up to 35 minutes. If you have 35 minutes and 30 seconds, that's fine, so long as you're not at 36 minutes. You get 35 minutes to play, and whoever gets the most complete. Oh, I was trying to time it for the fucking. We're playing Donkey Kong Country. I've been trying to time it so I could hold the Switch up and it had the logo, and then I waited a second too long and it went away. We're playing Donkey Kong Country. So when you start the game, you'll select a save file, and you can see like 36 minutes, and it has a percentage. Now, if any two of us have the same percentage, but we're actually at different parts of the level, then that will be the tie break. The reason I picked 35 minutes is it is longer than the speed run for beating it all levels. So you should the speed run to complete all levels, not in any % completion, but all levels. Is under 35 minutes, because there's a lot of levels where there's like secrets and stuff like that.
Oh, well,
you're allowed to use the internet. You're allowed to look them up.
Oh, I will definitely be using the internet.
But that's why we're doing both. We're doing 35 minutes, and it's whoever gets farthest. It's any percentage, but if it's a tie, if both people have completed it, then it's most completion. So we're gonna have to see who has the most actual levels complete. I think it's an interesting take because it's not your standard speed run.
Referring to then?
How much of the game you've beaten versus, because there are different things in the game. There's like secrets in the game, and there's stuff, you know. And there's way to like skip whole levels, like so. You're not going to get like so whoever beats it, you know, gets the farthest. Odds are, none of us are going to beat it in 35 minutes because that's the speed is like just under that is the speed run.
Right.
So that'll be very difficult. However, I think it's an interesting take because you could do it twice. You could do it once and be like, fuck, I was so slow at the beginning. I bet I could do this way faster now. And then you do another run, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
watch that fucking thing.
Interesting.
Play us out.
All right. So Donkey Kong Country on the Nintendo Switch is the game that you want to be playing. The original, not Tropical Freeze. We're playing it's the Super Nintendo, not the actual original Donkey Kong with Jumpman. 1 week away from Summer Games Fest and a lot of new games dropping. No one here cared enough to talk about Hellblade. If they played it, game seems like it sucks. Feels like you know. Feels like it's not great. Who knows? But I wanted to drop that in the outro because why not? This has been the Unranked Podcast. Coming to you once again next week. Stay unranked.
Suck it.